Hi everyone, Mal here. Since Speedy hasn't been able to, pretty much do his streams as much as he would like, I thought I would give a little, backstory on how we not only got to the Nexus, but also kind of gotten into the situation where we're in a clay body. So, I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone with that story, you know? And Speedy probably wants to tell a lot of stories himself, but I'm gonna tell this one about how we got to the Nexus in the first place. Now, as for us getting into the Subnexus as a whole, let's just say the front door wasn't exactly open. Now, before I explain, you have to understand, in the quantum zone, wormholes and energy fields are everywhere, and they can relevate from certain energies at any time. One such wormhole was zipping around the quantum zone like they do. Only thing is, Speedy's soul was kinda sucked into it, and kind of going along with it for the ride. Now, when he was in the wormhole, his soul began to change, I think due to the energies inside the wormhole itself. Not only giving me and Hatred our sentience, but also giving a boost to Speedy's willpower. And it wasn't until Speedy's soul was flung out of the wormhole, mainly due to the inertia and the speed his soul was going inside the wormhole. I honestly cannot recall how long Speedy's soul floated in quantum zone space, but what I do remember is how we landed in the Subnexus. And let me tell you, it was not pleasant. With Speedy's soul kind of not having any body, when it landed in the clay, it kind of possessed it, allowing him to smell, eat, and feel like a normal body would. But after landing in the quantanium clay itself inside the Subnexus, let's just say Speedy's realization to being in a body like that was, not the best. Needless to say, it took Speedy a very long time to get used to that body. Plus, it kinda didn't help that we were kinda trapped in the Subnexus, and I think we were in there for, 1,000 years or so, give or take. And because of that, Speedy had a lot of time on his hands. And during that time, Speedy took advantage of it by learning how to shapeshift. And it helped us get into the forms you see now. While Hatred continued to be a little specter in Speedy's head and looked like something a child messed with a yarn ball, torturing Speedy for years and years on end until there was nothing but a shred of sanity left, until me and him proceeded to beat him to a pulp and put him in that small box in Speedy's subconscious. That is until he actually got out, which I still have no idea how, but he did. It almost made Speedy relapse back into that horrid, toxic, very, very, very self-degrading mindset. And if it wasn't for this channel, he may have gone back into that mindset. And I'd hate to think what would have happened if he did. And it was only a few weeks later after we locked Hatred away, we found the mainframe. Which, whoever used the mainframe last proceeded to leave it in invisible mode and leave the desktop accessible. Which allowed Speedy to make himself an admin, but still. That was a lot of time wasted because of that. And once we figured out what the mainframe did and what it was able to do, Speedy decided it was a good way to try to get us back home. But trying to find your way back home with nothing to link your universe to, especially where there's hundreds of omniverses, multiverses, and universes out there, it's like trying to find a needle in a planet-sized haystack. It's not easy. And not to mention there's this virus character now who we have to deal with before we even think about leaving, which can make it to where we don't go home immediately, but we can't let someone like that just roam around the multiverses doing whatever the heck he wants, cause all it'll do is just cause death, destruction, and pain. And I know Speedy wouldn't live with himself if he just let someone like that just do what they want and destroy anyone's lives. Speedy's too good like that, and I plan to help him every step of the way. But on the bright side of all this, Hatred's finally gone, so we don't have to deal with his toxic personality screwing with Speedy's head, especially when he sleeps. And maybe, when all this is over, Speedy will finally have some peace.
So weak. So very weak. If it wasn't for me putting me back in Speedy's body, I would have died. He shot me, I didn't expect him to. I need to rest if the plan is to continue. And there's only one place I can rest where they won't look for me. The chest. place. Once I'm done and I'm at full health again, Speedy won't be able to stop me until